and Syracuse, New York. The road to the Final Four continues on CBS Sports with East Region second round action. Later today, you'll see Eastern Michigan and Penn State. But to open our day, two more familiar tournament faces. Top-seeded North Carolina and Villanova, whose last meeting in this tournament was high drama 6 years ago.
Dream is theirs. Rollie Massimino is going to the Final Four.
Enthusiastic coach and a great one at that, and he'll have his team prepared for us either way, you know, if it's a running pace game or a slowdown game, and I think Villanova is going to provide us a lot of problems with that slow pace of game.
I'm just going to look down. When Dean substitutes, we'll substitute. We'll have some fun. And then we'll play hands up Harry. That's what we're playing, hands up Harry. You can tell him that.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tim Ryan with Dan Bonner here in Syracuse. Hands up Harry, an old childhood game of Rollie Massimino's. What does he mean here?
Is this his second childhood hit, Tim? He's talking about his team having to keep their hands up on the defensive end, particularly in the zone defense. But I'll tell you, when they have those hands up, they better be doing something with them, like rebounding. That's going to be a big key for Villanova today.
Carolina rolled over Northeastern in their opening round game. What's the difference for them today?
North Carolina really played a transition game against Northeastern. I don't think they feel they can do that today, but what you'll see North Carolina do, press and trap and substitute, bang the boards, trying to wear down Villanova. It's going to be a real interesting ball game.
Well, Villanova hoping for another upset. Carolina hoping to make it 11 straight appearances in the round of 16. The Wildcats and the Tar Heels when we return.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the second round of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. LA Gears Catapult, it's not a shoe, it's a machine. And by Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold.
No matter where you look, there's Mazda. We're introducing new products like the Miata, setting new sales records, winning the respect of the automotive press, and winning awards for both quality and customer satisfaction. But most important, we're making thousands of people feel just right.
For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
All my dreams will go fast.
Dad?
Yeah?
Where do babies come from?
Under specific ovulatory circumstances, a male-female interface may generate an incipient life form. At over a 9-month...
At the Prudential, we believe some things can't be explained with a lot of fancy talk. So when it comes to life insurance...
Should I explain that once more?
We won't let you get it until you've got it. Your piece of the rock.
The Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. Home of Syracuse University Orangemen in football and basketball and lacrosse. And they have a good-sized crowd in here today. They should have something approaching 20,000 to watch the Tar Heels and the Wildcats. East Region's second round play. The round of 16 is the target. Starting lineup for Villanova. It'll be Lance Miller, along with Bain, Darren Bain at forward, Chris Walker, and Greg Woodard on the guards, Mark Dowdell the center. For the Tar Heels, the guards are King Rice and Hubert Davis, the forward Fox, and George Lynch, and the center Pete Chilcutt.
Tim, North Carolina, bigger and deeper than Villanova, and lots of times when you're in a situation like that, the guys who are key to the game are the guys who can stick the three-point shot. I think Aaron Bain and Greg Woodard are important players for Villanova.
Today's officials, Rick Wilco from Boone, Iowa, Art McDonald from Vernon, New Jersey. Eric Harmon from Monticello, Indiana. Tar Heels control the opening tap, defending to our right in white. Villanova in blue.
Villanova starts the game in a man-to-man defense. Look for them to change up as the game goes on.
Chilcutt for the first shot, and it's good. 26-5 record for North Carolina. Villanova 17-14. Defeated number 8 Princeton 50-48. And a last-second shot by Lance Miller in the first round. Carolina romping over Northeastern 101-66 in their opening round game. Pass deflected out of bounds off the Tar Heels. Villanova will control.
Dean Smith's North Carolina's Tar Heels starting in a man-to-man defense. They tried to trap that particular screen. Almost got a turnover.
Dean Smith in his 21st NCAA tournament, breaking the record held by Adolph Rupp of Kentucky. Miller's shot off the iron, rebounded by Villanova. Dowdell can't get it to drop, and Chilcutt takes it away.
Rolly Massimino would like to see that opportunity cashed in, but has to be happy with the rebounding.
Lynch underneath on a good pass from Fox.
North Carolina loves to get it up and down. King Rice has called the defensive signals for North Carolina. Still a man-to-man defense.
Rice tight on Walker. Walker feeding Dowdell. Walker from the corner.
North Carolina trying to set a little trap. When they try that, there'll be some open jump shots. Walker knocked that one down. That's got to be a foul on Dowdell. He's all over Chilcutt inside.
We want to remind those viewers expecting to see the Georgia Tech-Ohio State game, you will see it in its entirety. We're receiving bonus coverage of the North Carolina game just underway. Tip is 12:20 Eastern time for that game. Rolly Massimino, 20-9 is tournament play.
It's a very impressive tournament record.
Wildcats have been to 20 tournaments, 3 Final Fours, and of course won the championship in 95.
We talked about rebounding as a key. Villanova blocked out well.
Woodard bumped by Chilcutt.
That's very good offensive execution by Villanova. In its defense, North Carolina likes to deny the pass to the wing, and when they do, that creates some backdoor opportunities. Chilcutt wasn't able to get over against Woodard in time.
Woodard at the line for 2.
Tough thing about this game for the Villanova Wildcats, Tim, imagine what they have to go through in a course of 38 hours. They've got to play Princeton, who plays as slowly as anybody in the country, and now they've got to get ready in that 38 hours to come back and play North Carolina, the country's top up-tempo team.
Massimino said he'd like to have 4 or 5 days for that preparation. Of course, it doesn't exist in the tournament. 2 by Woodard, an 83% shooter from the line, and it's 5-4 Villanova.
That's excellent defense by Walker. King Rice was dribbling the ball out in front of Rolly Massimino, sort of trying to set up what was going to go on inside, and Walker nearly away. Villanova now drops back into his zone. Walker shouting instructions to his team. Villanova looks like they're going to try to change up on the fly. Match-up zone defense.
Rick Fox working outside, lets the 3 go. King Rice, good job to keep it the Tar Heels. Rice for 3.
Three-point shots, when they're missed, oftentimes have very long rebounds. North Carolina able to claim the long rebound that time. Rolly Massimino really doesn't want to give up those offensive boards.
Fox with a near steal from Miller. Walker hits for 3. 6 points for Walker. It'll be Wildcat ball.
King Rice makes a very fine hustle play to run down this basketball, and then when he sees nobody step out on him, the ball goes to Fox and back to Rice. Villanova in the zone's not able to hit him, and he sticks it. Carolina, however, just turned it over. Rick Fox throwing it out of bounds. There's the trap.
Pass for Woodard, broken up by Lynch on the trap.
Walker tried to pass that ball too far, Tim. His teammates have to come. You've got to throw shorter passes than that against the double team. George Lynch just too good an athlete to not knock that one down.
Nearly a full cross-court pass. Davis and Rice working the backcourt for Carolina. There's the alley-oop. Fox caught the ball, but by Lance Miller.
Miller did a very nice job forcing him out of bounds. Dean Smith and his ball club looking for a foul there. 2 turnovers now against North Carolina, and that's a big key for North Carolina. In a slowly paced game, they cannot afford to turn the ball over a lot of times.
Woodard driving, met by Fox and Davis. Off for Dowdell, Lance Miller. Dowdell rebound. Will be fouled by Chilcutt. Second on Chilcutt.
Really impressed with Villanova in the early going here, Tim. They've done a pretty nice job handling the variations that North Carolina has thrown at them, specifically with the exception of the one pass Walker threw away. They've done a great job beating the pressure, getting good shots, and either they make them or they've done a nice job on the offensive board.
Dowdell with a chance to extend the Wildcat lead. They're up 8-7. Dowdell, a junior from Howell, New Jersey, a 6'9" center, and a good free throw shooter, 7%. Dowdell, I know, impressed you with his job against Kit Miller of Princeton.
Good job against the smaller Miller. Now he's getting his work cut out for him against those big fellas from North Carolina. Again, the zone. And there's another turnover.
Chilcutt mishandled the pass, and the Wildcats have it.
North Carolina, which put a passing clinic in their first round game, sort of fumbling the ball.
Woodard.
The great equalizer in college basketball is that three-point shot. Villanova's now hit 3 of them.
And Woodard, the best three-point shooter in the Big East at 44%. Off to a good start. Another turnover. Miller intercepting the pass from Chilcutt.
Just not good, crisp passing.
But Chilcutt steals one back in front of Dowdell. Second turnover by the Wildcats. Fox with shooting room. He's got it. A pretty handy three-point shooter himself.
We could hear Rolly Massimino shouting at his team. He's going to shoot it as Fox came open, and Rolly goes and gets a couple of guys off the bench. He's really not happy. Rick Fox open against his defense.
Walker won't go for him. Miller rebounding. Tied up by Lynch.
Villanova continues to do a very impressive job on the offensive board.
The foul goes against Fox. His first of the game.
Each team making a lot of substitutions, and despite what you heard Rolly Massimino say before the game, he's not making these substitutions because Dean Smith is making substitutions. He's very upset that his team left Rick Fox wide open for the 3.
Carolina Rodel in, number 5 at forward. And Massimino has responded with Calvin Bird, number 21 at forward, and number 4, James Bryson.
Massimino, superbly dressed, but he's been up and down. That time may be on the top of his head before this game's over.
15-10, Villanova lead.
Genuine draft. For those who discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Dean Woodard believed in priorities.
Know why your clients are saving. Know why they're investing.
Okay. At some point, it's college. Later on, retirement. But Dean Woodard knows that often the highest priorities are all the things that happen in between.
Anything else you want?
Just the first dance.
There are many ways to measure success.
We measure success one investment time.
Every display precisely detailed. Every control carefully placed. Every texture carefully crafted. Every aspect of the Bonneville SSE's spacious interior is designed for a single purpose, to place you in a position of power and control. The 1991 Bonneville SSE, full-size driving excitement from Pontiac.
It's a major reunion.
Have we met before?
When Simon & Simon's Jameson Parker catches up with Gerald McCraney.
You're a Marine. That's right.
Great way to disguise hair loss. Make to Dad, Monday.
Jim Ryan with Dan Bonner in Syracuse. The other half of our East region in College Park, Maryland, sent Oklahoma State and Temple to the round of 16. And they're already in, and we will fill in those blanks here today. Later, you'll watch Eastern Michigan and Penn State. Phelps in the lineup for the Tar Heels, number 14.
Very active matchup zone defense, sort of a 2-3 look. And they just simply can't let him alone. Raleigh Massimino is very angry. That's pointers now by Rick Fox.
6 points for Fox.
This ought to be a good matchup. Lance Miller with the basketball, guarded by Rick Fox. Miller with a spectacular game on Friday, 7 of 7, including the game winner in the second half.
Carolina has the freshman Phelps and another freshman, Eric Montross, 0-0 in their lineup now. Big man at 7 feet. Long from Bird. Phelps overran the ball. Wildcats try to keep it alive, but it'll be Tar Heel ball.
We talked about Fox against Lance Miller. Of course, it's not Rick Fox alone against Lance Miller, as Fox is going to discover right here, much to his chagrin, gets really picked off Bryson. Fox is a big guy. He can handle it, though.
Talented, confident senior on this Tar Heel squad. Lots of NCAA tournament experience. Everybody who plays for Carolina has lots of that. Driving on Bird, goes the distance.
Nice job by Rodel. Dean Smith going to his bench, and immediately that bench produces.
Sophomore from Quagenstamm, Germany. Played a couple of years at Chapel Hill High School on an exchange program. Another German native.
Nice job by Rick Fox, just moving his feet, keeping his hands up. Rolly Massimino talked about hands-up Harry for Villanova, but you saw some there by Rick Fox. Maybe fast feet Freddie, too. Who knows? Rick Fox doing a nice job. Woodard back in.
Carolina ball, 15-15. 13:15 remaining first half. Fox outside. Fox from Rodel. Off target. Villanova says they should have the ball, and they get it. One official was about to award it to North Carolina. That had Bird upset.
I think that that shot was so far off by a guy who shoots the ball so well that the officials thought it might have been tipped. Excellent block out by Villanova, not letting North Carolina get anywhere near that one.
Walker sets up the Villanova play.
Walker has started out very strongly. 2 for 2, 3-point shots. He's only a 38% shooter on the year. There's that defense.
Alley-oop to Bird, picked off by Fox, and he feeds Phelps, who's got it. 2-point North Carolina lead. An unhappy Walker for the errant pass. Watched by Phelps.
Rolly Massimino thought that the transition play would be a key. North Carolina got it started there with the turnover. And there's another one by Villanova.
Errant pass from Bryson, intended for Bird, who was breaking. 5 turnovers for Villanova.
In the transition game, you have to sometimes cut it off with good offensive play. When you make bad plays on offense, that allows the transition to get going. Walker really stuck there. Nothing much he can do. Nice shot by Phelps. Fox is going to take a rest.
7-0 run by the Tar Heels.
Ryan Reese with the ball in the basketball game for Rick Fox. Rozier as well.
Montross, turnaround, won't go for him. Rebounded by Villanova. Bain, directly to Walker. Miller, knocked out by Carolina.
North Carolina, a basketball team that's big, that does a good job on the boards, really has not done a particularly good job on their defensive backboard early in this basketball game. Villanova with another opportunity.
Miller for Dowdell. Woodard lets fly. He's short. Covered by Phelps for North Carolina. Phelps driving again, runs into traffic this time, and it's Wildcat ball. Northeastern, the Tar Heels used 11 players, and they have substituted freely again as usual in this game. Reese, Rozier, Phelps, Rodel, Montross have all teams.
And one thing that Rolly Massimino to do is to make sure that he gets his guys like Lance Miller, his key players, sufficient rest in this game so they don't run out of gas at the end. There's a patented North Carolina spurt.
Dean Smith with a full second unit in on the floor right now. Bird for Bain. Bird rebounding. All kinds of traffic for him. Stopped by Phelps. And Phelps is fouled by Walker. First foul on Walker. Junior guard from Houston.
We said Villanova, in playing their hands-up Harry, better get some rebounds with their hands up in the air. And boy, they sure have so far. That's an amazing statistic, and I know Dean Smith cannot be particularly happy about it. Of course, he's happy they're winning the game by 2 points, so whatever way it gets it done, he'll take it.
Rozier will inbound it. The freshman from Bradenton. And again, another Carolina turnover, trying to get it to Phelps. Villanova takes over, 6 turnovers against the North Carolina Tar Heels. So far, Massimino's got the kind of game that he would hope to have at this stage against North Carolina.
Last 3 minutes or so, though, Tim, his team has not hit the open jump shots like they were early in the basketball game. So they're playing well off the backboard. They're playing well in terms of their limiting the number of turnovers, but they've got to shoot it as well.
Freshman guard Lloyd Mumford, number 4 in the ball game. His pass intended for Dowdell, broken up by Reese, who fouls on the play. And 11:48 remaining first half. Carolina by 2.
It begins with the efficiency of sequential poured fuel injection. It flows through a power plant cradled in fluid-filled mountings, and it manifests itself in the precision of Bonneville's fully independent suspension. This is advanced technology you can feel. This is full-sized excitement from Pontiac. This is Bonneville.
The people of Delta would like to recognize the sacrifice made by our armed forces and their families.
We do have a special military fare.
Now, with our welcome home fares, active military personnel and their eligible family dependents can travel to USA for 70% less.
Albuquerque, New Mexico? Is that your hometown? That's right, ma'am. I'm going home.
Anti-lock brakes.
Somewhere between crime and punishment is Dark Justice. Premieres Friday, April 5th on CBS Late Night. It's too hot to sleep.
When you play against the University of North Carolina, you know you're going to face traps. And for Lloyd Mumford, he's going to face a trap right. 7-foot guy, Eric Montross. Super job cutting it off, but Mumford handles it very well. Dowdell coming to the ball, gets fouled.
Dowdell driving. We're tied at 17. That's the first
2-point basket by Villanova.
Pretty unusual situation. They were 0 for 8 on 2-point tries until that one. Rozier.
Now we get a foul against Reese, trying to set the screen. That's another turnover for North Carolina, and I believe 5 turnovers now for North Carolina. And most of them of the unforced variety, Tim. Villanova they've played every aspect of the game pretty well. But you saw that shooting percentage graphic. They've got to shoot the ball better than that to win this game.
Villanova now with all their starters back on the floor. Walker and Woodard in the backcourt. This is Walker, number 15.
North Carolina.
Dell for Lance Miller.
Woodard on defense.
Back iron, rebounded by Carolina. Ryan Reese, freshman from the Bronx, New York.
That's a tough shot by King Rice. Good defense by Walker. Walker continues to play well early in this game.
Miller driving, travel. Tied at 17. Tim Ryan with Dan Bonner, and Syracuse, New York at the Carrier Dome. 10:54 to go, first half.
Rolly Massimino doing some politicking on the sideline. His team has not come out here and played slowly, Tim. The tempo has been not a real quick tempo, but it hasn't been a slow-down game either.
Showcat for King Rice.
Rice surprised by that pass.
Here, a drop for him, rebounded by Miller.
Nice work on the boards once again by Villanova. And Lance Miller, he just Brian Reese out of the way, and you can do that as that's his first foul, but for Rolly Massimino's crew, you got to be inside where the officials can't see you. When you're right up there at the top of the key, you're in trouble.
That was definitely wide open territory. Reese goes out. Fox returns for the Tar Heels, along with Lynch. George Lynch, the sophomore starter from Roanoke.
Now 8 turnovers for Villanova.
Dean Smith has his original starting 5 on the floor again.
That's Rozier headed for the locker room. We'll have to find out what that's all about.
Showcut watched by Maine. Miller rebounding.
Great block out by Woodard. All black shirts around the basketball. Nobody from North Carolina even anywhere close. I guess that's blue, not black.
Very dark blue. Villanova blue, Tar Heel blue today.
That's a great trap.
Bain all the way across to Woodard. Walker using the screen. Miller from the corner.
You want to see an exhibition of some ball movement? Great job by Villanova.
4 points for Miller. Hubert Davis, 3 points.
You know coming into the game, if you're Villanova, that Rick Fox and Hubert Davis are the 3-point marksmen.
20-19, North Carolina. Davis has been hot through the end of the season, regular season play, and into the tournament. The nephew of Walter Davis.
Oh, great job by Chilcutt.
King Rice sets it up. Chilcutt for 3.
He can hit that.
Not that time. Rebounded by Davis inside. Got the shot away, but unsuccessfully.
Now, we just saw some tremendous board work by George Lynch for North Carolina. It was Lynch who kept the first one alive for Davis to get it, and then Lynch gets over and gets the second rebound. That's the kind of effort that Dean Smith wants from his players. They started out slowly in this basketball game, but they gradually seem to be coming around.
Chris Walker's second foul makes it 4 team fouls on Villanova. And Walker will sit. Mumford returns to the point guard position.
It's an extremely important position. North Carolina is going to exert pressure on that position. Those players have to be rested. Mumford is going to have to play some minutes today.
Hubert Davis. Good feed for Lynch.
What a catch by Lynch. What a catch by George Lynch.
22-19 Carolina. 4 points for Lynch.
George Lynch just barks at his teammates, let's play some D.
Mumford on the trap. Rice pries it loose. Fox for Lynch. Rick tied up. Rick Fox forced outside, goes back to Rice, and Rice lets it fly. He's got it. 24-19 Carolina. 5 points for King Rice.
Villanova's got to score.
Picked up the foul.
Now you might say, why does King Rice get that foul? But very, very intense on the defensive end of the court, and that's what you want to see. You talk about defensive intensity. There's George Lynch stepping in, knock away. Watch what Rice does here. He screens Mumford off from that loose ball. Tremendous play by King Rice, and then North Carolina out on the break.
Foul against Rice, the 6th team foul against Carolina.
Rozier, they must not have enough seats on the bench when he comes out of the game. I guess he's got to go to the locker room. Then when it's time for him to come back in, he shows up.
Bain alone underneath. 24-21.
Smith with his hands behind his head. He doesn't design any defenses to leave somebody all alone under the basket.
Davis for Chilcutt.
Villanova back to a man-to-man.
Chilcutt underneath. On the feed from Rice.
Got to watch those screens away from the basketball if you're playing North Carolina in the man-to-man. Chilcutt got loose. Here comes the trap.
4 points for Chilcutt, the senior from Utah, Alabama. Lance Miller.
Great attack. You catch North Carolina in the middle of one of those rotations out of the trap and you attack. And Miller did successfully.
Chilcutt from Fox. Might have been deflected, fell short. It'll be Wildcat ball. We've got 6:58 remaining first half. North Carolina 26, Villanova 23.
The women's Final Four. In 2 weeks.
Hi, my name is Mike. This is a story about me and my friends. Like my mom, she's a wonderful mother. And my dad, he is one cool dude. That's my teacher. She is the best.
Mike's a super kid. Mike is very
brilliant,
outspoken.
That's my friend Tracy. I think she's beautiful. Come on, let's take a ride to McDonald's. There's all my friends. Hey, you know, me and James are our best pals. We are a great team. Pie is up. Perfect. Ever since I was a little baby, people are always trying to help me. So now I love to say, welcome to McDonald's. May I help you?
The Mazda MPV 4-wheel drive can help you get just about anywhere you want to go.
Let's go home.
Its V6 engine and rear anti-lock brakes let you handle even the worst weather with confidence.
Space it always stinks. Hey, where's that team spirit, huh?
Hey, Gail. The other team couldn't make it. You guys win by forfeit.
The Mazda MPV 4-wheel drive.
It's a wheel drive. If the weather stays bad, we can take the title.
Syracuse, New York, the Carrier Dome, the Carolina Band. Are they taking seriously in Carolina? Yes, they do. Today, they're dedicating a new city hall in Chapel Hill, and they pushed the scheduled time back an hour so that they could see this game in its entirety down there.
That's why we painted City Hall Carolina blue.
A good bet that they'll be doing it. Right now, they're glued to their television sets at Chapel Hill, and their team is up by 3. 6:51 to go first half.
12 turnovers now for Villanova. And the Wildcats have to consider themselves very fortunate that they've turned it over 12 times against North Carolina. They're only behind by 3.
Fox from the free throw line won't go for him. Lynch with a rebound, and he's pushed underneath by Bain.
We have done a great deal of talking in this basketball game about the rebounding of Villanova, but George Lynch, the last couple of possessions, has been on the board. Bain picks up his first foul.
Aaron Bain, a sophomore from Clifton, Virginia.
Villanova changed to a different type of zone defense that time. Looked like more of a 1-3-1, and Lynch got loose inside.
Roll, Phelps, Fox, Montrose, and Lynch, the lineup now for Carolina. And it has been changeable as usual.
9 turnovers now for North Carolina, and if Villanova's still in the game, those 9 turnovers by the Tar Heels are certainly part of the reason.
Dogged by Phelps. Uses the pick. Here's Woodard. He's got it.
That's textbook. You beat the trap, you get the open shot, and then you have to knock it down.
7 points for Woodard. Lynch
guard George Lynch. Lynch catching the ball and doing whatever he wants against Aaron Bain.
6'7" sophomore will have a chance for three.
This kid is really a nice player, and he's only a sophomore. Great job using his body to get position against Bain, and then quickly the catch and the jump. You know, in basketball, when you catch it, you have to be ready to do something with it, and Lynch caught it, and he was ready to shoot it as he caught it.
Lynch takes it 29-25. Carolina
with some full court pressure now. Here comes the trap.
Lynch and Phelps on it.
Nice ball movement.
Woodard off the front iron. Bird can't control.
The last time down the court, they beat the trap, got the open shot, and knocked it in. That time they beat the trap, got the open shot, and it didn't go. And that's why that man's team continues to trap. They're not all going to go in the basket.
Lynch again. Bryson ties him up. Phelps. Oh, good block from behind. Over the top. Miller got a piece of it.
You pick up the dribble, you pass the ball. Dowdell with a great job, and then you go over the top. Wide open. You can see nobody from North Carolina anywhere near Woodard. But this is a great play by Phelps there with a pretty good block out. They missed the shot, but the Wildcats executed down to that point.
Phelps, the freshman from Pleasantville, New York, organizing the play off the Fox now. Rodel. Nice pass to Montrose.
Nice, you can take the ball and just throw it up in the air, and that 7-foot guy puts those clamps on it, and in the basket it goes.
Chris Walker calling out the Villanova play. 5:13 and counting down first half. 6-point Tar Heel margin.
Gotta move the ball now. You beat the trap.
Woodard missed 2 in a row from the corner. Phelps to Lynch, trying to keep it alive.
And Lynch is claiming he got fouled, and it looks like he did. They're going to call Dowdell for the foul. That's 2 fouls now on Dowdell. You are seeing some athleticism being displayed out here by George Lynch. Watch Lynch. He's going to come flying into your picture. Catches the ball. Dowdell shoves him out of bounds. Just that little forearm by Dowdell as Lynch is coming down with the basketball. Right there. And Lynch can't keep his feet.
Reasonably subtle foul, but the sharp-eyed official caught him.
It's a reasonably subtle foul, but when you're in the transition like that, you don't have to have a hammer.
Vic Fox gets a rest. They turn out to be a member of the Canadian Olympic team in '92. We'll tell you more about that. Lynch hits one from the free throw line, 32-25.
Vic Fox is quite a story. Born in Canada, lives in the Bahamas, went to high school in Indiana, plays basketball for North Carolina.
And for the Canadian national team in the World Championships last year in Argentina. Asked him how good they were. He said, not very good. 4-8, but we beat the Koreans.
The little guy.
His mother played on the Canadian Olympic women's team, and he could well be on the Canadian Olympic team next year. Miller for Woodard. Bain and all kinds of traffic there, and Montrose comes away with it. Good outlet to Davis. Davis short. Bain rebound. Lance Miller. 2 Tar Heels on him, and he coughs it up. Phelps against Bain. And Bain takes a foul. Aaron Bain, a sophomore from Clifton, Virginia.
This basketball game has gone pretty much the way everybody figured it would. Early, Villanova doing a nice job handling North Carolina, but now you can see North Carolina's closed down the gap in the rebounding. Villanova, who started out 3 for 3 from three-point range, has lost the touch. Villanova continues to execute pretty well on the offensive end, except the ball hasn't been going in the basket.
18 fouls on Villanova.
You know, before the Princeton game, Rolly Massimino said the key for us is on offense. We have to score. There's Bain sitting down with his 3 personal fouls. And, of course, he can carry that same point over to this game with North Carolina. If you don't score, you're going to be in big trouble.
Villanova has Anthony Pell in, the freshman from the Bronx at 6'11". Dowdell against the press, off to Miller.
North Carolina operating with 3 freshmen, a sophomore, and a junior out there in the lineup.
Miller used all the iron, got nothing. Montross rebounding. Eric Montross beating Davis. Davis over Woodard.
Pass, catch. North Carolina executing that very well the last 6 or 7 minutes of the game. Davis doing a nice job on the shot.
5 points for Davis, who, when he's not out there practicing shooting basketballs, practices the cello. Miller slam dunked by the big Montross. Goes about 250.
Montross picks up the foul. As Lance Miller penetrates in, however, he finds a lot of traffic in there. Now here comes the massive substitutions for North Carolina again.
Rice and Fox back in.
Rodel, Montross, Phelps, and Reese out. Fox, Chilcutt, Rice, Rozier back in. The only guy who stays is Hubert Davis.
Well, we said they used 11 players against Northeastern in the opening round. We've seen 10 so far in the first half here. An embarrassment of riches for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Miller now has 7 points, but that's been a while since Villanova scored. We had a 1-point game at 26-25, and North Carolina blew it out.
37 for North Carolina, 27 for Villanova. They'll be back.
Okay, just like I show you now, on the paper. On the paper. Yeah, no, come on back. Come on back.
Keds introduces training shoes.
On the paper. On the paper. No, I said on the paper.
Keds, they feel good.
Anybody want to go outside?
Keds introduces...
Yeah, me neither.
Loafers. Keds, they feel good.
So what'd you use? My checker-faced framing hammer.
In New Britain, Connecticut, people don't talk about the weather.
You use a checker-faced framing hammer?
Where was your curved claw finish hammer?
You see, since 1843, New Britain's been the home of Stanley.
But I got him a Stanley handsaw last year for his birthday.
And if local conversation revolves around tools...
Hey, fellas, look at this. Whoa.
It's only because we make tools worth talking about.
Stanley's 12-foot power lock tape rule, huh?
When it came to redefining the word luxury, it wasn't a Webster. It was Oldsmobile.
The 98 defines luxury in terms of how much you get, not how much you spend. Anti-lock brakes, fuel-efficient power, computerized suspension, technology found in cars costing thousands more.
And you can always take a Webster at his word.
The new 98, luxury redefined.
Generation Bubbles.
Great values, big prizes during Oldsmobile's Drive to the Final Four Cellathon. You can't miss.
This is Harry Smith.
And I'm Paula Zahn. Tomorrow, Robert De Niro. He's starring in a new movie about blacklisting in the 50s.
Plus, Gene Hackman joins us on CBS this morning.
Jim Nance in New York. Let's go to our four corners. You see Wake Forest and Alabama in the southeast. That'll start in our 2 o'clock set of games. And out west at the McHale Center in Arizona, the first game out west will be Utah against Michigan State. Meanwhile, in Dayton, Ohio State has an 8-point lead on Georgia Tech. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Here's James Brown and Bill Raftery.
The 8th seed, Georgia Tech, 24-16. Tech had gotten off very quickly, and Kenny Anderson only his second field goal, 2 of 9 from the floor. But his Tech teammates had started fast. Since then, the Ohio State defense has really bothered him, Bill.
That and rebounding. This is the best defense I've seen Ohio State since their Indiana game, February 21st. They are aggressive, going after people.
Newbill with the rebound. We talked about Ohio State on the boards, 21-12 off the glass. And Anderson drawing the foul from Jamal Brown. Ohio State held off a scrappy Towson State to advance Georgia Tech easily by 17 over DePaul. Their meeting now coming later. It'll be Texas and St. John's, two coaches who are very familiar with each other. Tom Penders and Luke on the second.
They've had a number of ball games, but in this particular game, I think Kenny Anderson has been stymied. He's much better out on top, doing some penetrating, but good pressure defense and the great offensive rebounding by Ohio State has been the story.
Anderson with 6 points, coming off of a 31-point night on Friday night. But you can see he's struggling from the field today.
Said he didn't want to call his high school coach Jack Curran because he played poorly in the ACC, and he knew Jack would be all over him. Thought he would call him last night after a good performance this weekend.
Well, I'm sure he's hoping he can make the phone call today as well.
Still the 2-3. They're saving their man-to-man. But they've got to rebound out of it, and they're very small, particularly on Barry's side of the zone.
Mark Baker to Jim Jackson. Perry Carter, Treg Lee, and Jamal Brown, the 5. This is Brown for 3. Lee with the rebound. And he scores. The 9th offensive rebound by Ohio State. Basket will not count.
All right, we're going to show you more of that game coming up at halftime. Meanwhile, let's shift you back to Syracuse. Tim and Dan, it's still a 10-point margin for the Tar Heels.
In the game. Tim Ryan and Dan Bonner at the Carrier Dome. 1:03 and counting down. First half. Carolina leading Villanova 42-32.
In a ball game that saw Villanova start quickly, but North Carolina come on of late.
Rice missing. Montross follows.
What good hands for a big guy. Catches the ball up there, holds on to it with great strength, doesn't bring it down, banks it in. There's a few tenths of a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock.
Woodard having trouble from that position. He's missed 3 from over there in a row.
Woodard comes in with the reputation as a shooter. If you're going to beat North Carolina, your shooters need to convert, and Woodard has struggled in the first half.
King Rice letting the clock wind down. Under 10 seconds we go. Davis into the paint. He's got Lynch wide open. He missed the shot. 1.7 seconds still up. Villanova ball. Bain being sent in by Rolly Massimino. Dowdell goes out. Near the conclusion of every NCAA tournament game, we'll select a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game from each team, and in their honor, Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Walker from over half court is well short, and that'll do it for the first half. Carolina fans come to their feet, waving those Carolina blue pom-poms. Gene Smith and his squad go to the locker room with a lead of 44-32 at halftime.
And certainly we have not seen a slowly paced basketball game. This pace is much to the liking of North Carolina. After starting slowly, they really played well.
And that's the end of the first half with the score. Carolina 44, Villanova 32. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship continues after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the second round of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by McDonald's. Always good food, always good value. Kids, they feel good. And by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the second round of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Subway, sandwiches and salads for the healthy appetite. And by Bud Dry. Why ask why? Try Bud Dry for refreshment that's beyond question.
From From the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York, Tim Ryan with Dan Bonner awaiting half number 2, Villanova, Carolina. Now, Villanova came back against Princeton. They're down 12 against Carolina. What are the capabilities in this game?
Villanova is a team that's very capable of coming back. You can see what they did against Princeton, that 71% shooting from the field. And one thing that we talked about, if you're going to beat North Carolina, you have to shoot the ball well as one key. They did it in the second half against Princeton. Unfortunately for the Villanova Wildcats, they did not shoot the ball particularly well in the first half. In the first half, Villanova shooting only 40% from the field, and Rolly Massimino certainly realizes that his team has to do better than that. North Carolina shooting it very well. Another thing you have to do is protect the ball. Villanova with 14 turnovers has hurt themselves, and Villanova getting nothing in terms of scoring off the bench.
Wildcats have the first possession for half number 2. Dowdell, Walker, Miller, Bain, and Woodard, the original 5 starters. Going for Villanova now, working from right to left in the dark jersey.
Man-to-man for North Carolina.
Miller, Dowdell in the paint. Won't drop for him. Rebounded by Lynch.
Lynch has really exerted himself on the boards.
Lynch and Fox with Chilcutt, Rice, and Hubert Davis, the starters for Carolina at the beginning of the game.
Villanova starts in a man-to-man as well.
Davis driving. He's short. Woodard rebounding for Walker. Walker driving the line. Nice feed to Dowdell. The Wildcats open the scoring of half number 2.
Good penetration.
East Region second round action. Carolina and Villanova. The Tar Heels by 10. Tim Ryan with Dan Bonner. And Carolina with the ball early in the second half. We're just underway. 18:40 to go.
It's a game that has so far really proved the point that coach's time is before the game, players' time is during the game. Villanova has executed Rolly Massimino's attack very well right up to the point where it's been time to shoot the ball in the goal. Villanova has not shot well, and as a result, they've fallen behind by 12.
Davis with a 2-pointer for 10 points on the game for Carolina. Third out for Walker. Lance Miller, he's got it.
Villanova comes out shooting much better in the second half. Those open jump shots will go down. We'll have a better game in the second half.
Rice driving, but Dowdell blocked it. Walker quickly the other way. 3-on-2, and Walker with a jump. 46-38, 11 points. Walker.
Everybody talked about how this game would be a slowly paced game, that Villanova would try to slow the ball down. It's been anything but a slowly paced game.
Fox from the top of the key. 8 points for Fox. Carolina by 10. Villanova has some life here in the second half, no question about it. They came out with fire in their eyes, and they've been making their shots. Dowdell. Wide open Miller. Back inside to Dowdell over Chilcutt. Won't go, and Carolina rebound. Lynch. Fox in traffic. Gets it.
Fox isn't too smooth a basketball player, as he runs the court very well, catches it, and then takes it strong into traffic.
Tremendous poise and strength that you saw there against 3 defenders. Walker nearly stolen by Davis. Lance Miller. George Lynch pulls it down. Davis to Lynch.
Lynch with the big rebound on one end, the quick outlet pass. He now has 11 points as he runs down to the other end and scores.
Good-looking sophomore from Roanoke, Virginia, number 34, George Lynch, 6'7". Walker driving. That ball was bounced and pushed and rebounded and wound up going 6 feet up off the iron. It'll be Carolina ball. (52-38). North Carolina lead.
And George Lynch is coming out of the ball game as Rozier comes in.
Clifford Rozier, the freshman, 6'10" from Bradenton, Florida, saw considerable action in the first half.
Villanova changes defenses again. Goes back to the zone.
Hubert Davis. Fox, good position. Feed inside for Rozier, and he's pushed by Pell.
You won't see too many better passes than Rick Fox just threw. Off the rebound, the touch pass inside to Rozier, and draws the foul.
Anthony Pell, a 6'11 freshman from the Bronx.
This ball comes out, catches it right away into Rozier. That's a pretty good catch because that ball was coming at him with some steam on it.
What a great-looking athlete. Rozier at the line.
Think about this. Another great-looking athlete has been George Lynch. Lynch went out of the game, and the scary thought is this is the guy who came in for him.
53-38, Carolina. Tar Heels gave up some early turnovers in the first half. Villanova needs some of that help now. And they need baskets. Bain. Jokin rebounding.
Now Villanova's missed some open shots, but I wouldn't consider that one to be an open shot. 6'10 Rozier running at him with his hands up. Forced that miss by Aaron Bain.
Nice watch by Walker. Loops it for Fox. Rozier in some traffic. Offensive foul charge against North Carolina. And it's 53-38 Tar Heels.
There's a thread that runs through our lives. A thread that binds us together. Friendship, family, pride. These are the values that endure. The best things have always been those that last. Chevrolet, the truck that lasts. The heartbeat of
Basketball Championship next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Well, with North Carolina leading by 15, we're going to switch you right now out to Dayton. Midwest region action just starting the second half. Ohio State has an 8-point lead. James Brown and Bill Raftery with the call for us here on CBS.
So Perry Carter called for traveling. Not an impressive first half at all for Georgia Tech. A hot and cold one in general. Trailing by only 8. Georgia Tech in the yellow uniforms against Ohio State. And Kenny Anderson, 11 first half points, but indeed a hot and cold half for him. Only 4 of 13 from the field, so it's still anybody's ball game, Bill Raftery.
And he can scoot and blow by people. Right now, he's the point guy. A lot of bumps for him on the post area. And Baker having a problem, but look at the help by Carter.
Geiger, nice pass from Anderson and the slam.
That's the read, the understanding. He drew the big guy, knew somebody was free, the soft lob.
If Kenny can continue to be that unselfish, that helps him.
And everybody else, too. When he forces, they have problems.
Barry. Over to Anderson. Anderson can't get the layup. Mackey with the rebound, though. The follow by Barry. Aggressive play by John Barry. And Geiger off of his knee.
And again, the forceful nature, they get it down quickly. Tech not set.
Barry. Rebound and leading the break. Pass to Geiger. And Geiger, the recipient of a second assist.
If you get down the floor, you can do some damage. Look at this. Oh, my goodness.
And John Barry threw himself into the table, reminiscent of when he fell into the table up at the Meadowlands, but was out for a few minutes.
You worked that game, but this is effort. You have to love his performance every game. He's made himself into a terrific college player. Heart, dedication, and all-out effort.
Hey, Billy, that ought to inspire the other players.
It's got to be contagious.
Probably knocked out a laptop computer, though. Carter. Anderson. And the score.
Well, you talk about explosion and things being contagious. He must have met somebody at a young age because he's been good for a long time. Kenny Smith's his buddy and the guy he looks up to. Well, Kenny can't blow by much quicker.
Mark Baker picked up his second personal foul as Kenny Anderson drops in his 14th point. It's a three-point ball game. Ohio State led by 8 at the half.
There's Kenny now with Houston lighting it up. Former Malloy great.
Treg Lee from Perry Carter. Carter with the rebound. And a strong move by Perry Carter.
Randy Ayers has been getting the ball to the high post and then down. You can see the inside scoring by Ohio State.
Anderson should have passed it. Hill. Mackey. A fresh 45, Anderson.
A little too quick now. I got to slow it down.
Geiger, charging foul, and personal foul number 4 on Matt Geiger.
So you have to pull the plug. And Anderson was not out front, so they went for it right away. Geiger assumes that's what the coach wants. If the point guy can get it back, bring it back out, calm everybody down, something good might happen.
Ivano Newbill comes in to replace Matt Geiger. So Geiger, who started strong, picks up another foul. Number 4, he's on the bench.
Now you lead him to trouble. The high-low has been devastating there, and the dunk down of the shot.
And Carter, having his own way with the rebounds, continuing the mastery on the offensive glass. Perry Carter with 13 points.
JB, he can have his way with me anytime.
The man, of course, who was voted by many in Columbus as having the best body in Columbus, Perry Carter.
And that's said with a little sarcasm, I think.
Hill blocked from behind by Treg Lee, but a foul. Treg Lee picks up foul number 1.
Or envy, baby, over the body. Kenny now has to take over, and I mean in the assist category. Get the mindset organized, get his big people involved, and play within himself. Great competitor.
Hill looking to cut into a Buckeye 7-point lead. The Tech coaching staff would really love to see Brian Hill put the ball up a bit more, Billy. He doesn't shoot it enough, but he is perhaps the best perimeter shooter.
Because he's from your neighborhood, used to sneak out late at night and shoot in the backyard. His brother thought he was asleep.
Played for Red Jenkins down at W.T. Woodson in Virginia. And the official, very aggressively running by, knocked off the monitor that we had here on the table, Bill. Well, and he didn't feel a thing.
Bill Bobo with a lot of hustle. Jerry Donahue. And, of course, Tom O'Neill has done a nice job up to that point.
And we're set to play after a little housekeeping. Randy Ayers, Big Ten Coach of the Year. Already selected by the United States Basketball Writers of America as the National Coach of the Year as well.
Now, I might be tempted to put Jackson in the high post. They're getting shots there. He hasn't had many.
Jackson on the glass, can't find the drop, but Perry Carter does.
Call the Red Cross. Tech needs help on the glass.
Ohio State just killing Georgia Tech on the glass. Second chance points underscored the remark. Barry for three.
Too deep, too quick. Composure essential by Tech right now.
And Kenny Anderson picks up foul number 2. Team second. And Ohio State, staying with it, has pushed the lead back up to 8.
Why do women always know when you're not telling them the whole story? And why do they always change plans at the last minute? And why do we keep putting up with them?
Why ask why? Try Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So while women may remain a mystery, refreshment won't.
Life we can all count on. Qualities that we have come to know and trust. Pride, good friends, and simple, honest value. These are the things we know we can depend on. Chevrolet, the cars more Americans depend on.
Is the Washington Monument on shaky ground? No, but the man who they call the Washington Monument may be. Watch 60 Minutes tonight.
8-point Buckeyes lead with 15:38 remaining, and teams here in Dayton, Ohio, looking to advance to the round of 16. Texas and St. John's yet to come. Two teams yesterday from the other half of the Midwest bracket, UConn and Duke, have advanced to the round of 16. Duke with an excellent performance from that freshman Grant Hill, playing with a hip pointer as well as a broken nose. Talk about tenacity.
Great talent. We'll be enjoying him for years to come. And they post up, Jackson. Got to get him in the flow.
Foul whistled under the basket.
Carter, that time with the shove. Of course, he raises his arm and 3 people move generally.
Well, Randy Ayers has to be pleased with Perry Carter's performance. 8 points, 11 rebounds, 5 on the offensive glass. You take a look at Tech itself with 8 second-half points. John Barry, Malcolm Mackey, Brian Hill, Kenny Anderson, and Savannah Newbill, the 5 in for Georgia Tech.
This little pick and roll I like. They haven't gone to it much. I think you got to give Kenny some help.
Barry can't get the 3. And Mackey, trying to find some room, is fouled. I think it's Mark Baker. That will be number 3 on Mark Baker. So Randy Ayers will have to do something. And it looks like he is. In fact, Jamie Skelton coming in to replace Mark Baker. Skelton, another local boy from the Dayton area, played at Meadowdale High School. Known by his teammates as perhaps the weakest of the guys in the weightlifting room.
That's right. He might as well stay, shoot layups.
And a layup indeed was that, dropped in by Brian Hill.
And a real breakdown defensively that time by Ohio State. Man-to-man, the last 2 trips by Tech. And they saved this all game.
Jackson loses the handle but gets the ball back and pushes the Buckeyes back in front by 8. Pretty! Frank Lee with the slam.
Well, Ohio State generally doesn't like the forward pass, but if they decide to become a passing team in football, Put Jimmy Jackson at quarterback. He just finds people, loves to dish.
Craig Lee picks up his second personal foul. That'll be the 15th foul for Ohio State as Bill Robinson, the 7-footer, comes back in to replace Craig Lee. And I mentioned triple header coverage coming your way. Penn State, Eastern Michigan, Wake Forest and Alabama, Texas St. John's from right here, Michigan State, and Rick Majerus' squad, the Utah squad. Big day right here on CBS. This is Ohio State's biggest lead, 10 points, 48-38 with 14 minutes remaining in the contest. Geiger, too anxious to get it, kicks it. It'll go over to the Buckeyes.
They're going to say he kicked it. You're right. But Carter defensively, with the strength, pushed Geiger in the back, then released. And Geiger, as most postmen, fell back. It's an old Rick Mahorn trick in the NBA with the Sixers.
Rick Mahorn, every bit as strong, well, as a matter of fact, stronger than Terry Carter.
A couple of years older. Little double screen.
Jamal Brown. Mackey with the rebound. A wide open Barry, he didn't notice. Anderson. Bill, I guess as good a stat as any to underscore how Kenny Anderson is pressing. He has only 1 assist on the afternoon.
And against North Carolina, he was in double figures. And that's what they need from him. He's coming down and popping instead of initiating the offense.
Well, Malcolm Mackey, while he started off quickly in the scoring column, certainly has been doing it on the boards. He's got 12, trying to keep Georgia Tech within range.
Georgia Tech calls the timeout.
The women's Final Four in 2 weeks.
There's a thread that runs through our lives. A thread that binds us together. Friendship, family, pride. These are the values that endure. The best things have always been those that last. Chevrolet, the truck that lasts.
United brings you the new World's Fair. Low fares to almost anywhere United and United Express fly. $69 to $159 to anywhere in the continental U.S. Hawaii from $149. Plus great low fares to Europe and Asia. Buy your ticket by April 8th and travel between now and May 19th. Seats are limited and significant restrictions apply. So call your travel agent or United now for our new World's Fair. Come fly the friendly skies.
Subway's Cold Cut Combo. It starts with a foundation of the freshest bread anywhere. Baked every 4 hours in every Subway store. Then cheese, 3 kinds of meat, and whichever of our 9 tasty fixings you choose. Total construction cost, $1.69. It's time to eat. Subway 6-inch Cold Cut Combo. For $1.69, we can build one for you.
Ohio State's lead is 10 with 13 minutes to go. But in the East, Villanova making a run. Villanova had been down 18. They trimmed it to 7. And they're getting the basketball back. Let's send you to Syracuse right now. Tim Ryan and Dan Bonner.
The Carrier Dome in Syracuse. North Carolina leading 66-59, but the Wildcats on a tear. We'll be back in Syracuse in a moment. What's the run?
I'm Dave Johnson. For my training for the 1992 decathlon, I switched to the pump from Reebok. When I'm pumped up, my feet have support, protection, and a custom fit for leaping, vaulting, spinning, jumping, sprinting, hurling, racing, running, throwing, and shot putting. Now, I'm the guy who knows cross-training. Pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
Ready for some good news? If your car is in an accident and you have Allstate insurance, you can leave it in our hands. Allstate's recommended pro shops can do everything, including the estimate, in one stop. And to make you feel even better, Allstate will guarantee their workmanship for as long as you own your car. Well, that's the news. Now, be careful. You're in good hands with Allstate, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
The thoroughly modern design was a surprisingly courageous decision, one that we applaud for its solid step into the future. What knocked us out was the incredible control and maneuverability Caprice Classic LTZ brings to the party. And for that, we gave it this party favor.
Chevrolet Caprice Classic LTZ is Motor Trend Car of the Year.
It's destined to be an important car on the American scene.
And now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
The man who murdered her husband was supposed to be in prison, but there wasn't enough room.
We're coming out.
Not if she can help it. 48 hours, Wednesday.
Villanova on a 17-6 tear has moved it to a 7-point margin now. Tim Ryan and Dan Bonner watching the Wildcats battle back against the Tar Heels, but an errant pass from the rookie Mumford, who has contributed greatly for the senior Walker at the point guard position. 8 points. 2 3-pointers among the 8 points.
Mumford has been the key to this Villanova run. All 8 of those points in the second half. Villanova shot only 40% in the first half, but 52 so far in the second half. They started out very slowly in the second half. They've been red hot on this run.
7:45, counting down, second half. Davis looping it in for Lynch. Lynch, nice reverse layup. And he'll get a chance for 3, fouled by Pell. 15 points for Lynch.
Dean Smith could not have drawn it up any better. After that timeout, his team forces a turnover, and George Lynch, who has been a big factor inside all day, gets position on the smaller Woodard, takes it around Pell, uses the basket for protection, sticks it in and gets fouled by Pell, who stares down the referee.
Dean Smith has his original 5 starters in the lineup now. Mumford continues for Walker. At the point guard for Villanova, Miller, Bird, Pell, and Woodard. The 5 on the floor for Villanova.
Villanova's hit 4 3-point baskets in the second half, which has certainly helped the cause.
Miller popped it up, picked off by Rice. 19 turnovers now for Villanova. Fox shot blocked. He tried to flip it up from a low position. Miller got a piece of it.
Great hands by Lynch. Lynch comes up with the ball again, and that's a foul on Mumford. That goes beyond a hand check. That's a shove.
18 fouls, 9 make it 19 fouls on Villanova.
Mumford looking at King Rice, trying to size up what he's doing, and pushes Rice. Rice doesn't usually jump backwards while he's dribbling the basketball.
Rice will have a 1-and-1. King Rice, a senior from Binghamton. Gets the first. He's a 70% free throw shooter.
Dowdell back in the game with 4 fouls for Villanova. Mumford has really played a lot of minutes in the second half. Rowley can't take him out. He's played so well.
Rice missing the second of 2 and the second of the 1-and-1, and Mumford will bring it up. Very calm-looking freshman in this critical situation. 6:49 to go. Woodard. Woodard, and he tops it up to Fox. A bad pass from Greg Woodard.
Villanova's turned it over 3 times in a row since they cut into that lead, and North Carolina called that timeout.
20 altogether in the game. Turnover departments for the Wildcats. Rice. Nice pass to Chilcutt, and a good jumper by the big man.
You pass, you go away, you screen, you cut, you keep moving if you're a North Carolina Tar Heel on offense. Rice dribbles the basketball. The good entry pass. What a nice bounce pass by King Rice, and Chilcutt in perfect position for that turnaround jumper.
71-59 Tar Heels. Slowing the Villanova drive back. That's
really good defense.
little too good. Rick Fox tying up Miller, takes a foul.
2 fouls on Rick Fox. And, you know, interestingly enough, Tim, while Villanova was making their run, there was a fella sitting over at the scorer's table waiting to check in for North Carolina. And since he has checked in, it has been all North Carolina. And that fella is number 44, Rick Fox. He means so much to this North Carolina ball club.
Miller watched by Fox. And Fox knocked it loose. Rice from Davis. Lynch keeps it.
Rice missed the easy one. Dowdell was there. North Carolina wants to run through the offense. Rick Fox just gave Dean Smith the fist. Fox just asked to come out of the game. He's tired. No small wonder.
That gets Brian Reese up. Fox missing. Lynch follows.
There's a guy who's not tired.
Boy, and he's been a leaping fool through the whole game. Lynch.
Big smile on his face. He knows he's playing well.
Active at both ends. 73-59 Tar Heels. Payne, the three-pointer off the mark. Dowdell rebounds. Miller lets it fly. He's got it.
Nice shot by Miller. You may have seen him look down and find that three-point line, step behind it. Good play.
17 for Miller. The hero against Princeton with the final game-winning shot. Nice watch by Miller. Rice driving, and he lost it to Miller. Miller did a real good job all the way in on Rice. 14 turnovers for North Carolina. Dowdell is free. He's got it.
We're back to a 9-point game.
8 points for Dowdell. 2-on-1 Carolina break. Davis, yes.
Pretty play. Pretty play.
Davis angry at Bird for pushing him from behind. There was no call on it. He got the 2 and then went down. 15 points for Davis. Mumford. Taken down by George Lynch.
Mumford may be a little tired. He's played a long time. That three-point shot was not a good one. Lynch with 10 rebounds.
Davis. Rice to Fox. Fox again the strength, just peeling away from Miller.
Now remember, Fox asked to come out of the game because he was tired as he gets points 13 and 14, but he certainly hasn't slowed down.
77-64 North Carolina. Dowdell underneath. No luck. The other way, Lynch gently rolls it over the iron. 19 points for sophomore George Lynch from Roanoke. Lance Miller pulls back. Fox with a loose ball. Out to Rice. Knew exactly where he was. He just has such a good sense of the floor, Fox.
That spurt by North Carolina probably has been enough. It's 2:24 left in the game. They're up by 15. Villanova got close, but North Carolina just toying with them. Blows them away.
Fox locked it to Miller and Mumford. Trying to jam it over Fox. Is fouled. That was a tall order, literally, for Mumford to try and...
Mumford, only 6 feet tall. He went up there with some authority, but Fox wasn't going to let him have that.
Freshman enthusiasm here.
You can't fault the aggressiveness or the effort of Villanova, but Rick Fox right there.
Ohio State's lead is 10 with 13 minutes to go. But in the East, Villanova making a run. Villanova had been down 18. They trimmed it to 7. And they're getting the basketball back. Let's send you to Syracuse right now. Tim Ryan and Dan Bonner.
to 59, but the Wildcats on a tear. We'll be back in Syracuse in a moment. What's the run?
I'm Dave Johnson. For my training for the 1992 decathlon, I switched to the pump from Reebok. When I'm pumped up, my feet have support, protection, and a custom fit for leaping, vaulting, spinning, jumping, sprinting, hurling, racing, running, throwing, and shot putting. Now, I'm the guy who knows cross-training. Pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
Ready for some good news? If your car is in an accident and you have Allstate insurance, you can leave it in our hands. Allstate's recommended pro shops can do everything, including the estimate, in one stop. And to make you feel even better, Allstate will guarantee their workmanship for as long as you own your car. Well, that's the news. Now, be careful. You're in good hands with Allstate, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
The thoroughly modern design was a surprisingly courageous decision, one that we applaud for its solid step into the future. What knocked us out was the incredible control and maneuverability Caprice Classic LTZ brings to the party. And for that, we gave it this party favor.
Chevrolet Caprice Classic LTZ is Motor Trend Car of the Year.
It's destined to be an important car on the American scene.
And now it's easy to win with a heartbeat.
The man who murdered her husband was supposed to be in prison, but there wasn't enough room.
We're coming out.
Not if she can help it. 48 hours, Wednesday.
Villanova on a 17-6 tear has moved it to a 7-point margin now. Tim Ryan and Dan Bonner watching the Wildcats battle back against the Tar Heels, but an errant pass from the rookie Mumford, who has contributed greatly for the senior Walker at the point guard position. 8 points. 2 3-pointers among the 8 points.
Mumford has been the key to this Villanova run. All 8 of those points in the second half. Villanova shot only 40% in the first half to 52 so far in the second half. They started out very slowly in the second half. They've been red hot on this run.
7:45, counting down, second half. Davis looping it in for Lynch. Lynch, nice reverse layup. And he'll get a chance for 3. Foul by Pell. 15 points for Lynch.
Dean Smith could not have drawn it up any better. After that timeout, his team forces a turnover, and George Lynch, who has been a big factor inside all day, gets position on the smaller Woodard, takes it around Pell, uses the basket for protection, sticks it in, and gets fouled by Pell, who stares down the referee.
Dean Smith has his original 5 starters in the lineup now. Mumford continues for Walker. At the point guard for Villanova, Miller, Bird, Pell, and Woodard. The 5 on the floor for Villanova.
Villanova's hit 4 3-point baskets in the second half, which has certainly helped the cause.
Miller popped it up, picked off by Rice. 19 turnovers now for Villanova. Fox shot blocked. He tried to flip it up from a low position. Miller got a piece of it.
Great hands by Lynch. Lynch comes up with the ball again, and that's a foul on Mumford. That goes beyond a hand check. That's a shove.
18 fouls, 9 make it. 19 fouls on Villanova.
Mumford looking at King Rice, trying to size up what he's doing, and pushes Rice. Rice doesn't usually jump backwards while he's dribbling the basketball.
Rice will have a 1-and-1. King Rice, a senior from Binghamton. Gets the first. He's a 70% free throw shooter.
Dowdell back in the game with 4 fouls for Villanova. Mumford has really played a lot of minutes in the second half. Rowley can't take him out. He's played so well.
Rice missing the second of 2 and the second of the 1-and-1, and Mumford will bring it up. Very calm-looking freshman in this critical situation. 6:49 to go. Woodard. Woodard, and he tops it up to Fox. A bad pass from Greg Woodard.
Villanova's turned it over 3 times in a row since they cut into that lead, and North Carolina called that timeout.
20 altogether in the game. Turnover departments for the Wildcats. Rice. Nice pass to Chilcutt, and a good jumper by the big man.
You pass, you go away, you screen, you cut, you keep moving if you're a North Carolina Tar Heel on offense. Rice dribbles the basketball. The good entry pass. What a nice bounce pass by King Rice, and Chilcutt in perfect position for that turnaround jumper.
71-59 Tar Heels. Slowing the Villanova drive back.
That's really good defense.
A little too good. Rick Fox tying up Miller, takes a foul.
2 fouls on Rick Fox. And, you know, interestingly enough, Tim, while Villanova was making their run, there was a fella sitting over at the scorer's table waiting to check in for North Carolina. And since he has checked in, it has been all North Carolina. And that fella is number 44, Rick Fox. He means so much to this North Carolina ball club.
Miller watched by Fox. And Fox knocked it loose. Rice from Davis. Lynch keeps it.
Rice missed the easy one. Dowdell was there. North Carolina wants to run through the offense. Rick Fox just gave Dean Smith the fifth. Fox just asked to come out of the game because he's tired. No small wonder.
That gets Brian Reese up. Fox missing. Lynch follows.
There's a guy who's not tired.
Oh, and he's been a leaping fool through the whole game. Lynch.
Big smile on his face. He knows he's playing well.
Active at both ends. 73-59 Tar Heels. Payne, a three-pointer off the mark. Dowdell rebounds. Miller lets it fly. He's got it.
Nice shot by Miller. You may have seen him look down and find that three-point line, step behind it. Good play.
17 for Miller. The hero against Princeton with the final game-winning shot. Nice watch by Miller. Rice driving, and he lost it to Miller. Miller did a real good job all the way in on Rice. 14 turnovers for North Carolina. Dowdell is free. He's got it.
Back to a 9-point game.
8 points for Dowdell. 2-on-1 Carolina break. Davis, yes.
Pretty play. Pretty play.
Davis angry at Bird for pushing him from behind. There was no call on it. He got the 2 and then went down. 15 points for Davis. Mumford. Taken down by George Lynch.
Mumford may be a little tired. He's played a long time. That three-point shot was not a good one. Lynch with 10 rebounds.
Davis. Rice to Fox. Fox again the strength, just peeling away from Miller.
Now remember, Fox asked to come out of the game because he was tired as he gets points 13 and 14, but he certainly hasn't slowed down.
77-64 North Carolina. Dowdell underneath. No luck. The other way, Lynch gently rolls it over the iron. 19 points for sophomore George Lynch from Roanoke. Lance Miller pulls back. Fox with a loose ball. Out to Rice. Knew exactly where he was. He just has such a good sense of the floor, Fox.
That spurt by North Carolina probably has been enough. It's 2:24 left in the game. They're up by 15. Villanova got close, but North Carolina just toying with them. Blows them away.
Fox blocked it to Miller, and Mumford trying to jam it over Fox is fouled. That was a tall order, literally, for Mumford to try.
Mumford only 6 feet tall. He went up there with some authority, but Fox wasn't going to let him have that.
Freshman enthusiasm here.
You can't fault the aggressiveness or the effort of Villanova, but Rick Fox right there, that ball's not going anywhere. Fox gets the foul. We've seen some real good passing by North Carolina both on Friday and today. George Lynch running the court very well, accepts the ball from Rick Fox and lays it over top. And Fox really breathing heavily on the bench, but he did his job.
Yeah, I would think he's through for the night with another fine tournament game. He's got a terrific tournament record over his 4 years at Carolina. And Fox, as we said earlier, may be a member of the Canadian Olympic team in 1992. Toronto-born, lives in Nassau, Bahamas, eligible for the Canadian team. 2:08 remaining. Carolina 79, Villanova 66.
Everyone knows about my expansive vocabulary and the delineations I take with language. I went to electrocution school. So when I say the wrong thing at the right time, it's funny, but only because I'm in control. But if you're drinking and you start talking like me, then it's a good inclination that you're not in control, and that's not funny. You see, responsible drinking is as easy as knowing when to say the right thing at the right time. To know when to say when. And hey, even I could say that.
A reminder from Budweiser. Now, United brings you the new World's Fair. Low fares to almost anywhere United and United Express fly. $69 to $159 to anywhere in the continental U.S. Hawaii from $149, plus great low fares to Europe and Asia. Buy your ticket by April 8th and travel between now and May 19th. Seats are limited and significant restrictions apply. So call your travel agent or United now for our new World's Fair. Come fly the friendly skies.
If motorcycling has seemed out of reach, maybe you just haven't reached for the right motorcycle. Legendary inline 4 performance is now within your reach. Introducing the Nighthawk 750, only from Honda.
When you're looking for mystery, you always start at the scene of the crime. Premieres Wednesday, April 3rd on CBS Late Night. It's too hot to sleep.
Those top 2 spaces above Oklahoma State and Temple will be filled in by the 2 winners here today. It appears North Carolina will be one of them. And then the winner of our upcoming game, Eastern Michigan or Penn State, will fill out that final slot. And that puts top seeded North Carolina in very good shape, Dan Bonner, I would think. They have to feel pretty good about what lies ahead. Perhaps a trip to Indianapolis.
This has been, of course, the region of the upset. Oklahoma State, the number 3 seed. I guess the seeding figures that they'll be there. But Temple, number 10 seed coming out of the region. And then the winner of the Eastern Michigan-Penn State game is also a low seed. Eastern Michigan came in as the number 12 seed. Penn State is the number 13 seed. So if you just look strictly at the seedings, Dean Smith Club is in pretty good position. I'll tell you what, that Oklahoma State team is a tough ball team, and as Temple showed you, they're going to play that tough zone and shoot the ball well. They can be a threat as well.
What a job Eddie Sutton's done at Oklahoma State, and they are the number 3 seed in this region.
Byron Houston for Oklahoma State, one of the country's outstanding inside players.
Hubert Davis makes it 70, make it to 80 to 66.
I'll tell you what, though, if North Carolina plays the way we've seen them play in the 2 games up here, they're going to be hard to beat.
Woodard waits for the traffic to clear and hits for 3. 15 points for Greg Woodard. Dell pressing on Choket, and the ball comes loose, but he fouled.
If you're Villanova, this is what you're left with. Unfortunately, Mark Dowdell, with his 5th personal foul, is going to be out of the game, but you've got to get the steal or the foul quickly. hope that North Carolina is going to miss the free throws. That's foul number 10, so North Carolina is now going to get 2 shots on any foul opportunity. And then you've got to come down the court and hit the 3-point shots.
I mentioned Rick Fox of the Tar Heels going to the bench. He left with 14 points, 8 assists, and 2 rebounds. Another routinely fine game, and he's now back in here for the final minute 35. How do you figure?
Well, under the North Carolina system, he took himself out of the game, and he gets to put himself back in. So he's out there.
So he's playing.
And I don't think Dean Smith has chalked this one up in the victory column yet. I think Dean Smith, with 1:35, still feels like Villanova has some punch left, so he wants to have his best guys out on the court. And if you look out on that court for North Carolina, everybody makes a lot of to-do about their fine young players, but Chilcutt shooting the ball is a senior, Fox is a senior, Rice is a senior, and when Dean Smith thinks the game's on the line, he's got his seniors in there.
He's got the 5 original starters on the floor right now, 81-69. Woodard. And they're going to charge Woodard an offensive foul. Third against him.
Rolly Massimino, if you can read lips, not particularly pleased with that call. Very tough attempt by Woodard, and of course that's really all that's left for Villanova now. He jumped right into the very tough defense of Hubert Davis, and the foul call was because he threw that arm out there trying to ward Davis off.
Rice, as usual, leading the party, but look at all of the help they get from all of these players.
26 assists for North Carolina. When you have that many assists, that means you've been getting some easy baskets.
Rice with 9, the third all-time assist man in North Carolina history, behind Kenny Smith and Phil Ford. Davis going for 18 points on the day, and he's got it. 83-69. Walker, the senior at point guard for Villanova, back in. Lets a 3 fly. Won't go for him. Scramble for the rebound, knocked out by King Rice. Still to follow here from the Carrier Dome. It should be a most interesting matchup. Penn State and Eastern Michigan.
And Rolly Massimino clearing his bench. You can see Georgia Tech closing the gap on Ohio State.
James Bryson comes on along with Tim Muller, Chris Massotti, Paul Grind. Off the Villanova bench as Rolly is conceding defeat here, 1:16 to go. And an exciting, intriguing victory over Princeton, but losing to a much stronger, deeper North Carolina team. David Miller also in for Villanova, number 12, brother of Lance Miller.
And Dean Smith about to call off the dogs. His subs are getting up off the bench, going to report in.
And they're going to wind up with only a few seconds here as we're under a minute. 19 seconds on the shot clock, and King Rice will kick it outside again to Davis.
Villanova not fouling. They know they're out of the game. Just letting the clock run.
Lynch for Chilcutt, and he's fouled. Well, we'll be taking you to the Tech-Ohio State game at the conclusion of our game here at the Carrier Dome. You see the Carolina substitutes are going to get in for the final 27.3 remaining. 83-69, Carolina lead, the top seed in the East, impressive, and 2 victories over Northeastern and Villanova.
This is St. Patrick's Day, but there's an awful lot of Carolina blue in the stand.
There is Carolina blue and Villanova darker blue, sprinkled liberally with green on this St. Patrick's Day. Our Chevrolet players of the game today are Lloyd Mumford, the freshman who sparked Villanova in the second half, and George Lynch, the sophomore who was so impressive all day long today for North Carolina. Congratulations to both of them.
Chilcutt goes out of the game. Another solid game by that senior.
Pat Sullivan, Scott Cherry on the floor, Matt Winstrom for Carolina. Kevin Salvadori. This is Cherry. And the Wildcats steal it. And finally, Kenny Harris for North Carolina. So all of the bench players getting these final seconds. And the basket from the attempt by Masadi bounces off the iron, and that'll do it. Here's the Carrier Dome. Top-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels at Dean Smith into the round of 16 for the 11th straight year. Held off a surge by the Wildcats in the second half, and were simply too big, too strong, and too good. 84-69 the final. Now Dan Bonner project a little bit. He mentioned that they are in good position here in this regional situation. Can they make it all the way to Indianapolis?
Oh, I don't think there's any question that they can make it all the way to Indianapolis if they play the way they have played the two games up here. They will face in East Rutherford the winner of our next game, Eastern Michigan and Penn State, and then they have the winner of the Oklahoma Temple game if they get past the winner of our next game. But the way North Carolina has played for 2 days up here has been extremely impressive.
All right, for Dan Bonner, I'm Tim Ryan saying so long and sending it to Jim Nance.